In this video, I'm going to be talking step by step about how I got my first SMMA client and how you can do the same thing as well starting in 2023. There's a lot of gurus out there that think that they know what the right outreach method is, what the correct way to do it is, and really the simple answer is that the best way to do it is the best way that you think is possible. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how I went about getting that first client, what that process looked like, and how I was actually able to land them on my first ever sales call ever. Real quick, also, I just created a Discord server for like-minded entrepreneurs in the social media marketing space, so that'll be down below, but if not, then enjoy the video. So I'm really just going to start where everything pretty much started. A little bit of background on me. I've had marketing experience and marketing jobs and internships in the past with a couple Fortune 500 companies here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was fortunate enough to get that insight and background and really figure out early on at an early age that marketing is what I wanted to do, and that going into social media management, I wanted to do some of the fulfillment myself. I know a lot of people get into SMMA and they outsource the fulfillment, or they go on Fiverr, Upwork, get a freelancer, get a media buyer, which is totally okay. For me, I think it's a little bit different because I had a little bit of a pride thing going where I was like, I wanted to, make the post myself, do the ads management myself, do the email marketing myself, so I could prove to myself that I know what I'm doing inside of the marketing space. So I kind of went about it with that mindset. And so I went on Upwork. I started applying to probably 10 to 20 jobs a day. And then I was able to land my first client, which was a podcast for $200 a month, which is not much at all. But I was able to do that because I went a whole 2 weeks without hearing anything from any clients or anybody on Upwork, but I stayed consistent and I knew that my past in marketing would help me out eventually. So I was able to land that client on a call. Basically, we just talked for, pretty much 15-20 minutes. I gave them my presentation, which is really simple. It just talks to them about who I am, what I do, what's my background, some of my services, why I'm qualified. And I brought up the point that in multiple of my internships, I was the youngest member. So in that kind of situation, I leveraged my past. And it's really important that when you're going into a meeting with any marketing client that you want to land, you talk about your past experience, whether that be, previous case studies, whether that be even if it's a job you've had in the past or marketing kind of experience, even if it's building a YouTube channel, an Instagram channel, a Twitter page, a Facebook page, whatever it may be, you literally need to leverage every single one of those so that you can land that first client. So it was a mix of that and really just understanding his needs. So for him, he really just wanted to create a social media profile, get it out there, and I was only charging him $200 a month because, like I said, that was my first client. I didn't want to overcharge him, but at the same time, I wanted to make sure that I was getting something and not working for free at first, because I feel like my past kind of leveraged that for me. So I go into the meeting and I'm super nervous, and I'm wearing like nice clothes, which now it's funny because like you could do that. You could go into a meeting with a polo, but like 9 times out of 10, you'll just be wearing what I'm wearing right now, or like the client will be wearing something like they just wake up in a hoodie and PJs. But I went into the meeting pretty nervous. Nonetheless, I was confident. I spoke confidently. I spoke like I believed in what I was, offering, which, again, if you have marketing experience or a marketing background, it really helps to know what you're talking about. And I was talking to somebody that I was doing my consulting for earlier today, who basically was like, how do I make sure that I'm hiring the right people? And my answer was, you have to make sure that they're doing the right work. You don't want to hire a media buyer, a social media manager on your team and not really know what a good social media manager looks like, not knowing what a good media buyer looks like. So you have to have a basic understanding when you go into social media marketing, what is expected for, high quality results for your clients, or else your agency is not going to grow because the results just won't be driven because you're not hiring the right people. So that's a super important part of SMMA that I think is, often overlooked. And it's really important that you understand like the basic foundation before going into SMMA. I think there's a lot of people that try to get into it and freelance everything and just be the middle person without knowing anything about marketing, which yes, you technically could do, but again, you do need some basic knowledge. I opened the meeting talking about where he was located, what the weather was like, just really basic conversation. And then I got into the meat of things when I got into my presentation. And if you're still sticking around right now, I'm going to actually dive into what that presentation looks like and how kind of you can frame the same thing for your agency. So this is pretty much it. It's really nothing special, but at the same time, I think it's effective. This is the exact one that I was able to use. So I had a mission statement. I talked about my services, and then I provided him with this web, which, if you're a visual learner or if you're going into any meeting where you're using like high quality visuals, I think it's super important. So on the left here, I've got my 3 main pillars, my 3 main services. And on the right, I've got 3 things that kind of go along with it. So content creation, I do photography, videography for some of my social media management clients. clients that want it for their Instagram pages, for their social media, and just for their branding. And then UGC, I'll tie that into social media management as well. Copywriting goes along with email marketing and paid ads. And content creation also goes with paid ads as well. So anyway, this is kind of a web that I presented with him that I thought was really effective. And he seemed to like it as well. So I thought that was super effective. And then, going into the next part of it, just breaking down each one of the services so that he understood what he was getting out of every single service so that there was no surprises. You want to make sure that you're laying everything on the table, up front, so that when it comes time to do the fulfillment, he's not like, whoa, I didn't know you were going to do this. I didn't know you were going to do that. You don't want to surprise anybody with any, services. And then some case studies, which, like I said, this was not added before. These are after I've already had, a couple of clients and have driven some good results for them. So these are some, different pieces of work that we've done. These 2 slides were not in the original presentation. So then I talked about 3 keys to success. And I thought this slide was, necessary because I think it kind of drives the company factor of my agency, which means like we have something that keeps us together, something that's a backbone, and that's 3 C's, which in my mind were consistency, collaboration, and communication. Consistency for social media especially, and for growing any brand, is lucrative to growing any kind of brand. Consistency, we want to stay consistent with the work we're doing, with the posts that we're scheduling, with the advertisements that we're running, and making sure that the ads are high quality, the email marketing is high quality, and that we're consistently keeping things up to date. Collaboration, because at the end of the day, it's their business. We want to collaborate with them. We want to make sure that they're happy with whatever we're putting out there, that we're capturing their brand image. And then third is communication. Like at the end of the day, you're a small agency. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to respond to an email on the same day. I had a client that was dealing with a 2-person agency that was doing their email marketing, but they would reach out to this agency and they wouldn't hear back for like 2 weeks. So I actually was able to step in and take their business because they didn't answer any of the emails. And as a 2-person agency, which 9 times out of 10 the people that are watching this are going to start it are just going to be 1 person, you should be able to communicate, and you need to tell your clients that so that they have more faith, so that they feel a little bit better about going with you as opposed to some other agencies, some other freelancers out there. And then I talked about a timeline. So a thing that really has helped me get clients in this space is talking to them about the importance of a trial kind of period. A trial period can be free. A trial period can be regular payment. For me, it's regular payment. So like I would say, I'm going to sign you to a 3-month contract. And from there, it's pretty much just like, social media management ranges from, $300 a month to like $1,000 a month, depending on really what you're doing. But I will sign them to a 3-month contract. That way they're not locked down for, 8 months to a year. And 9 times out of 10, that gets them a little bit more comfortable with the situation at hand. So I give them this map. So like in the fiscal year, January, let's say I signed somebody in January, our contract term would end in March, and we've had a 3-month evaluation, restructuring of the contract. And then after that, I show them that the optimal results would happen in that 3 to 6 month mark, because it would, by this time you've had to work with their brand over a span of, half a year. And so those optimal results are just going to happen as long as you're providing quality work, as long as you know what you're talking about, you know what works, what doesn't work. Those optimal results are going to happen. And then September of the fiscal year, end of the 6-month contract, if you decide to go with that, reevaluation. And in December is the 12-month mark evaluation and results that you've driven for them. It's really important to stay up to date with all the kind of things that you're offering them, because it's important to keep track of results. And at this 12-month mark, it's a really important kind of time to send them where you were a year ago, where you are now, and where you can be in the future. I actually had to learn this the hard way as a client left, because he didn't really realize what he was getting out of my services, because I wasn't keeping track with the numbers while I was still generating him a decent amount of revenue for what he was paying me. So that was on me, and I had to learn that the hard way, but I put this in the presentation. But that's kind of the presentation that I walked through, and he was super impressed. We talked about payment after that. I scheduled him for a call the following week. It's really important to schedule a follow-up call if they're on the fence. Sometimes people will just want to work with you right then and there. But after that, he did some talking with some of his business partners. He got back to me in a week and said, let's move forward with the 200. After that first client, I was able to drive some great results for him. I used that case study for future clients. And then from there, I was able to charge what, the normal agencies are able to charge, because I've had that case study in the past that really proves I know what I'm doing. It proves that I can do the same thing for your business as well. And it's really just all about getting the first client under your belt and doing good results for that first client to then, snowball. The whole thing is just a snowball effect. Once it can snowball into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clients, that money starts to snowball. You can get to 10K per month pretty easily doing that. And as long as you're doing quality work, like I said, if you have a basic understanding about social media marketing, which with all the free information that's provided on YouTube nowadays is not hard to find, then you'll be fine doing this kind of stuff, because again, it's just all a process. Stay consistent, because that's the thing that kept me going. That's the thing that'll keep you going. And I was talking about this on a recent podcast, but like, consistency is one thing that all successful people have in common, and the ones that stay consistent through hard times are always the one that end up, on the back end, on the top. So as long as you stay consistent, provide good value, there's no reason why you should not land your first client, and then many more after that. So anyway, I wanted to share this story. I hope you guys have a happy holidays. Thanks so much for sticking around. Like I said, that Discord server will be in the link below. Hit the like and subscribe button if you did enjoy, and I'll see you in a future video. Thanks for watching. Peace.